All right. Hey everyone. Okay. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Revulsion, something that I should have been doing a lot more of the last 3 or 4 weeks. I've actually been kind of quiet about Revulsion, which is completely unnecessary considering the fact that I've been working on the game for this time period. Um, the most recent change to the game is that I finally decided uh, to sort of just go with a um, procedural level like building system. So, which is a pretty big change, but the already existing static maps, the handcrafted maps are not going anywhere. So basically, what you do is you're gonna do a bunch of procedural levels. You're gonna do and then a handcrafted map. So like handcrafted map, procedural levels, like a bunch of them in a row, and then you do handcrafted map again, and then procedural level, and then handcrafted map again, and so on. Um, so these changes are gonna have pretty big effects as far as like the level cap as well. Probably gonna raise the level cap up because there's a lot more going on in the game now. So here's like you can actually see some of the tiles if you actually want to see like so the design of the tiles and how the system actually functions is very similar to what I did. Well, what I learned while working on Warframe is just a really basic way to do procedural level design. You have different tiles with different groupings, and then you assign them all in the level itself, like how many loot spawns do you want, how many blah blah blah, right? And then and then you do things like make sure that there's a fast travel point that gets placed in the correct position when you enter the map. And what's interesting about this is that when you exit the level, it can be in the north, south, east, or west exit. That affects like what entrance you come into on the next map. And since I already have that functionality set up for the handcrafted levels, that means that it all just kind of comes together. So like if you exit if you take a north exit on the procedural level and you enter into one of the handcrafted levels, you will enter from the north or from the south, and so it's always going to be kind of sort of randomized kind of a thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop talking about it and show it a little bit. So here's a very early stage. It's still black mesh, and there is not enough variety in tiles. And while I'm playing, I'm just going to keep talking about it a little bit more. So it took me about a week to get this set up. Um, the auto map will function. It already does function with it. There's a couple of bugs that I need to stomp out, like when you collect objectives, the power crystals. It doesn't update the map, so you have to actually turn the thing off. But here we go. So the loot spawns in random spots. I have. Oh Jesus. Okay, that would be pretty rough for somebody. See, my characters, these enemies are only level 15, stuff like that, and my test character is a fully maxed out legendary at level 20 character. So, yeah. So there's a combination of there's an initial um, placement of enemies that occurs when you first start the map. That just sort of fleshes out the level with basic spawn points, right? And then there's a dynamic spawn system, and then there's going to be a special event spawn system where it spawns elite mobs and like tougher enemies that have like better loot drops and stuff. And if you find them and kill them, they'll be like named monsters or epic. You'll see it in their names. Um, I'm like one-shotting them. I have a hellish sniper rifle. Is like the best in slot sniper rifle. Equipped right now, and it's just kind of laying waste to these guys. It's a pretty badass weapon, and it's legendary as well. So, so let's see. Okay, there's a fast travel point over there. Oh, somebody got hit by one of the enemy grenades. I got XP for that. Wow, 2 rocket launcher guys. Oh no, it's a grenade. Rocket launcher guy and a grenade guy. Oh, these levels have a much greater like, you know, free flowiness to them than the handcrafted maps. I have to say, like, there's kind of a, it feels a lot more free flowing and less about memorizing the maps and more about just sort of reacting to what happens. Yeah, 15 body armor. Green. There's vending machines that spawn. If you're looking for them, you should be able to find vending machines as well. Let's see if I can check out all these areas here. I'm just gonna keep. In fact, I may actually just make this, you know, moving forward. Any additional like level packs that I add to the map, to the game, will probably be using this system instead of just regular handcrafted maps, because the regular handcrafted maps, I don't know. I guess they have their charm, but they're more. It's a lot more work, and they're not. I don't know if they're as fun, or maybe this is just different for me, because like I can just sit around in one of these things and run around collecting loot, and finding vending machines, and you know, hey, there's an ammo pickup here. I should probably mark ammo pickups on the map and stuff like that. So let's see down here. Also, these textures are going to have to be, you know, stylized a lot differently. They'll have to be set up to look more like the textures in the rest of the game. Again, this is this bow that I'm using is a oh shit, what is it called? Death bow, yeah. It's a high-end weapon you can only get for completing some of the later missions, but it does a lot of damage. It's a pretty tough bow. It's fire damage too, which, since most of the enemies I'm fighting right now are based on undeads, fire does tons of damage to them. So let's see. I guess I do gotta go this way. Here. The one concern that I am having about this, but may not really be a genuine is that performance does seem to be suffering a bit more, but I don't think that's actually true. My computer isn't exactly you know, fully decked out. I have a, you know, like a pretty crappy video card that I need to upgrade one of these days. But I should be above 60 frames per second at all times. But in Revulsion, I think performance tends to drop when you have lots and lots of enemies running around all using nav mesh and, you know, all that jazz. So just let's sell this stuff. So let's see. I guess both of the objectives were literally sitting in the same room. Oh, these maps can get big, by the way, too. That's one of the other interesting things about this. These maps can get huge. It's actually pretty remarkable. So the objective is down there, and that concludes that. So I would go into this, and then I would enter into the next map, and it would be more, just more randomized stuff. I'm gonna have a patch with this playable version so that I can get feedback, and then there's also one additional mission in the game as well that is in the works, and I can show the one of those levels right now. I think it's this one here. So we have also on top of that we have an additional mission. Oh, it's not this one. And the undertunnels will also be part of the mission, which is a huge, huge level. But this is a new map that has not been shown off yet. It's still in the works right now. It needs monster placement and everything like that. So you can kind of see like the handcrafted levels are using a lot more like voxely stuff, but the generated levels is going to be a pretty interesting challenge to make sure that they look at least closer or similar enough to these levels as possible. That it won't really like trigger any red flags. Is like why these maps look so different from the others. The thing is though is that I can use a lot of these same assets on a lot of the tiles. So like I'm already kind of doing that, and just add a little bit more flair in, and you get the same sort of thing, and then just make sure the textures match the same style as the assets themselves, and it's actually a more efficient way to just build the same exact content. It's the same kinds of levels and stuff like that, and it's all pretty straightforward and everything like that. Like so far pretty much all of this is pretty straightforward actually. The the hardest part is just going to be getting the next patch out, which will include this for every mission and another adjustment to the level cap. I may actually make the level cap 100 and just rely a lot more on the random generation and spread the regular missions out a lot more so that you have like missions that are entirely done as random gen and stuff like that. I don't know. I think honestly it can work pretty well. I'm enjoying just playing the random generated maps, and then the random generated maps can be done. I don't know, in more creative ways. I can kind of like look at a little bit of stuff like that. My goal is to get the game done, or I want the game out of early access because it doesn't need to be in early access. I mean, there's a lot of rough stuff about the UI and everything like that. A lot of that stuff, I'm using like buttons can have like a special graphic or something like that. But for the most part, there's really not much reason for this game to actually be in early access once I get this next patch in place and actually get the textures and the one additional mission. I really don't think it should be an early access game anymore. It's getting too close, and my goal is to just is to finish off any of the rough ends right now and get it in that condition by well, as soon as possible. So so I'll see you guys on I'm gonna try a little bit harder now to continually get new updates, be a little bit more verbose about this. I'm gonna be firing up my YouTube channel again, and Twitch as well, possibly, because I need to start worrying about funding, because at this point in time, the project that I was just currently working on, I've been heading another project. We even got a small team of people together, and that kind of fell through because of the cryptocurrency crash. Is sort of put things on hold. and that kind of hurts because that was a pretty decent income. But at this point in time, is not the case. Even with that project though, I was still planning to get Revulsion, pretty much done by. It's been in early access for a year. It can't. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to let that happen to something that I'm working on, that I'm solely responsible for. I don't want it to be, it shouldn't be in early access for this long. It's I guess it's just so easy to let it happen, and I don't want that. So there's that, and I really do need to start, like, getting on the social media that people actually see. I mean, I'm usually only on cryptocurrency based platforms and everything like that. The next games that I work on are going to be cryptocurrency based games, so I guess it kind of fits. But right now, Revulsion isn't a cryptocurrency based game; it's just a Steam game, and I should probably be using talking about it on the platforms that people are used to using on Steam based games. So um, like, so you'll probably be watching this video on my YouTube channel, which I'm probably gonna revise and swap around a little bit, and yeah, I don't know, just get things kind of in order. And I'll probably be doing other content as well. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna end this video now. Hope you enjoyed, uh, and definitely stay tuned for more, because there's no reason to let this just fall by the wayside. Like, I have been working on this game, even though it's been quiet on, and I've been kind of discouraged because low sales and stuff like that. I have not stopped working on Revulsion. Revulsion is getting attention. It's going to get a very big patch again very soon. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead. Take it easy, guys.